So welcome back to my channel. This is Gamer Dom, and they're at it again. Good. Wargaming are banning cheats. So a third wave of bans has taken place apparently, which has seen still surprisingly large numbers of players using illegal mods. So on the EU server, 3,186 players received the initial 7-day ban and first warning, and 833 were banned permanently, so their accounts were suspended without warning, without any kind of right of appeal. They're gone. Well, I suppose they had a warning because they had the first warning, so if they carried on using the mods, then more fool them. RU server, much bigger player base, so nearly 18,000 received their first warnings, first and final warnings that is, and 5,700 were banned. Southeast Asia, much smaller numbers, probably because it's a much smaller player base, or maybe they're just very good people over there. 169 got their first warning and 32 were banned permanently. North American server 336 received their first warning and 77 were banned. So looks like Wargaming are a dog with a bone and will not let this go, which is great. Good on them. It's about time they did it. I think it's almost going to be irrelevant soon. I think they will have built in all the mods you're ever going to want into the game, and therefore they know that anybody who adds any new mods to their computer are probably using cheating ones, but that's my personal opinion. But anyway, we'll see. But good on them. Getting rid of the cheaters has got to help. So great news, as I talked about last time in Ramblings, they have allowed us to swap out the horrible cartoon tank, the T25 E5 Patriot, for a normal one without any camo, any of that horrible special camo on that they put on it. Now the background for that, for those who can't remember, was that every other server, including the US one bizarrely, was able to buy the tank without the American flag and eagle and what have you stamped on the side of it. But in the EU, for some God knows reasons, we had to buy, if we were going to buy the tank, we didn't have to buy it obviously, but if you chose to buy this excellent tier 8 American heavy tank, you had to buy it with this ridiculous camo on it. So this week, or a couple of weeks, I forget now, a few days ago anyway, they decided to sell it in the EU shop, and they sold it, surprise without the horrible cartoon camo. And they announced that we are allowed to swap out the special camos for a standard Patriot tank non-camo version, which is what I did straight away. So the moment I heard a rumour, I put a ticket in with Wargaming, and actually, to be very fair to them, they swapped it over within a day or two. So really pleased with that. So basic rules for doing this is that you doesn't matter how many games you've played in the Patriot, you have to have bought that before the non-camo version came out, and you can only do it one way, so you can't swap your, God knows why you'd want to, your standard variant for the Patriot. You can't do it that way around, and once you've done it, it's permanent. You can't swap it out. All your stuff from the tank goes into your depot, or into the barracks for the crew if you've got specialist crew. I mean, mine were from a different tank, so they just went back to that. Yeah, it's all straightforward. Your service record in the Patriot stays in your service record chart, so you effectively start again with the new Patriot, which is great. So well done, Wargaming. Good, very pleased you did that. I did it immediately. I have my new tank. It's fabulous, and I much prefer it. Doesn't burn the eyes as much as the other one. Now, please, can you do the Liberté, please? Because that's friggin' horrible too. So you're going off to the T25 Pilot. This is the marathon offer, mission marathon, that is running between the 12th of March and the 27th of March. Each day you have a different token to collect, and once you collect, you have to collect 13 of the 15 available to get a free tier 8 American medium tank, which is this T25 Pilot 1. Each day's missions are different. I think the first day was to finish in the top 5 times to finish in the top 10 on your team, which is very easy to do for most people, I think. Then there was a mission to kill 10 enemy tanks, to accumulate 15,000 experience. Oh, sorry, 15,000 damage. And today is what's today? I can't find it now. Oh, 20,000 experience over any number of battles. There you go. So relatively straightforward. You also get something else. So today, I'm filming this on Wednesday, and this is today's mission. 20,000 experience you have to get. You get the daily token, plus you get 5 coffee with cinnamon buns, which obviously the premium food consumable for the Swedish tanks. So yeah, you get this rather nice. Well, it looks nice. I mean, it looks like all the other American medium tanks, to be absolutely honest. So let's have a look at the Pilot in Tanks GG. I'm comparing it here with the M46 Patton KR, the Tier 8 American, other American medium premium tank, and you've got a better DPM. So 1,925 DPM is not bad at all. Penetration 192 with its standard rounds is not bad. 240 average damage. Reload rate of fire is very good, 8.2 rounds per minute as opposed to 7.7 on the KR. Reload time of 7.49. Aim time is very good, 1.92. Extremely good, extremely good. But dispersion is not well. Actually, standard dispersion's fine, but you've got much worse dispersion on the move than the KR. Very, very small ammo capacity, only 50 rounds compared to 70 on the KR. That's ridiculous, really. Which means your potential damage, if every shell hit and did damage, is, I can't work that one out, 3,200 less than the KR. But you do have very good top speed, poor power to rate ratio, so you're a bit slow to get away, but once you're going, you're pretty good. Traverse is very good. Ground resistance on hard ground is very good, not so good on the other two terrains. Oh, hang on, no, that's traverse, sorry. Ground resistance is across the board are much better than the KR, so yeah, it looks to be a mobile tank, which is good because it's got very little armour. 76mm of frontal armour, 50 at the side, 38 at the rear. The turret itself only has 76 front, so really, really not much. Really not got much armour at all, so it's a mobile tank. You need to use your mobility as best you can. Here you can see the collision model. Yeah, that 76mm armour, even angled, is only 95. If you angle it that way, it's only 100 and less than 120. So anything you're really going to be facing will go straight through the front of that armour. The only bit of armour, effective armour you got, is around the edge of the gun mantle here. Touches, well, it goes over 300 in places, but even in the centre of that it's only 200. You know, bearing in mind this gun can penetrate that, so I always think it's a measure of a tank that if you can penetrate it with your own gun, then it's probably quite weak, and this can. So very, very little armour. Side armour is terrible and actually gets worse as you go further back on the tank. So that's 56 there, oh sorry, that's flat on, 50 there, 38 there. So yeah, this is not an armoured tank. You need to be very, very careful how you use it. Use the mobility because you've got 55 kph. You haven't got much acceleration, but once you get going I think you're pretty good, and the traverse speed looks pretty good. View range is good, 390 base view range. So I think this is sort of one of those scouty, annoying flanking mediums that gets around the back of people and causes mayhem. Now it's a good crew trainer because it has 5 crew, so you know, will be useful if you need an American medium trainer for your medium crews. So yeah, all around an okay vehicle is what I would probably say. I haven't got it obviously because I haven't bought it yet, but you know, I'm going to work my way through it. I've got all the tokens so far and I'll try and get them all myself, and once I've got it in my hot little hands I'll share my thoughts with you if you're interested. Also, one thing to say, if you the reason why people buy this tank generally outright right at the beginning and then collect the tokens separately is obviously you can swap the tokens that you earn for gold. I can't remember how much it is, probably about 300-400 gold per token. So if you need the gold, it's it's a way of doing it. But personally, I'm going to be earning the tokens the hard way if I can, and I'll leave. I'll try and get the tank at the end. If I need to top it up with a few extra ones, then so be it. But I'm not going to spend a lot of money on this tank. It doesn't look worth it, but it does look quite interesting. So, but what if you can't get on 13 days out of 15, or you can't complete the mission 13 days out of 15? Well, you can. In the generosity of Wargaming shows no ends of no limits. You can buy tokens. Oh, Shock Horror Pro, you mean you can buy stuff? Yes, you can spend your money with Wargaming to buy the tokens. So you can buy 5 tokens for £9.40. We can buy individual tokens for £1.88. Alternatively, you can just go out and buy the tank, and it surprises me how many. Well, I suppose it doesn't surprise me. People always buy the tank immediately, but you can buy the tank itself straight away. So you can buy it in a bundle. That's quite a big bundle, actually. Tank, 13 missions for the. Oh, you get all 13 missions, right? Tokens, okay. 8,500 gold. You get 30 days of premium. You get 5 times 5 victories, 30 of them. You get special reserve plus 30% crew experience for 2 hours. Nice. Medium gun rammer, vertical stabilizers, and improved ventilations, all for £52.46. Another bundle here. This one is £34.97. You get all the tokens for the tank. You get 3,750 gold, 15 missions of times 5 experience for each victory. Presumably that's only on that tank, I would imagine. And 10 personal reserves of plus 200% crew experience for 2 hours. Or you can just buy the vehicle. This is the Pilot on its own with just a garage slot. So this is £24.75, which is kind of £24.75 puts you right in the middle of all the medium-y type tanks. So it's slightly cheaper than the T54 prototype. It's around about the same price as the CDC and the STA2 and the FE4202. So it's right in that sort of not the heavy tier 8 premiums, but in the medium tier 8 premiums. So interesting vehicle. Mixed views of reviewers who've played with it. Some of the community contributors have had their hands on it. Seems to be a bit of a tank from what I can tell. Nobody's been massively impressed with it, but nobody's particularly saying it's absolutely horrible. So it's a free tank if you do all the missions, or at the very least if you can do say 10 of the missions and just buy 3 tokens to make up the rest, you're getting a tank for what, £6? Tier 8 medium for £6 to train your crew, get extra premium, extra credits. It's not a bad thing at all. So I may just be not paying attention, which is entirely possible. But did anyone else notice that a number of the premium tanks that previously hadn't been readily available are now in the tech tree? So you got the Trumpwagon Waffelträger, the tier 7 German premium TD, fabulous tank, really enjoy that one. You got the Panther M10, which was a limited edition, was a limited matchmaking medium tank, German again, and then the VK4503, the limited edition tier 7. Sorry, it's not limited edition. It is it wasn't previously on the tech tree. Premium tier 7 German heavy tank. You've also got the 112, the Chinese tier 8 premium heavy tank. I believe someone said the Panzer IV no, that's not available. So anyway, there's a number of these tanks. There's 4 of them there that weren't previously on the tech tree. You can now buy for gold if you so wish, which is interesting. Some of these tanks, I mean, the 112 has had a lot of buffing, is limited matchmaking. The Panther is limited matchmaking as well. So it's intriguing they've put this into the tech tree. You've also got the Steve 42 on the Swedish line. Don't think that was available for gold previously either, but it is now. So interesting. So I talked about it in the last video on Ramblings about the new upcoming American Tier 6 medium tank, the Thunderbolt. This is the thing. It looks a beautiful tank. It's effectively, it's apparently a tank that was used by a Colonel Abrahams, him of the Abraham tank fame, in the Second World War. He was a very, very aggressive general. He wore out a number of Shermans and had this one specially built with extra armour to basically see him through the rest of the war. And so to commemorate that, they're introducing this into the game. Now Sam Lockhart, again, you can see him up there on the top left, guy I've featured his videos several times before. I think he does some really good things on leaked stuff on the game. He reckons that this is coming after patch 9.18, so don't know when that'll be, but we'll see. So let's see what he's also got some very interesting or useful stats about this tank. It looks nice, doesn't it?
But here are the collision models as for comparison. Now the original Thunderbolt 7 collision model is pretty low res, so I magnified it, but it looks a little bit fuzzy, so that's because the 400 by 300 pixels, I cannot do anything about it. So zoom and enhance, but that's the best I can do. As you can see, this vehicle has a little bit more armor than the Sherman Jumbo, but not that crazy amount. So you'll still get penetrated, but not through Panzer IVs, Panzer IIIs, no. The early models of the Panther, like the VK3002M, no. So the frontal armor is about 150-ish for AP, and about 160-ish without normalization. So AP negates 5 degrees of sloping, APCR negates 2, so the blue is the AP effective armor. But upper plate is 150-ish, middle plate 190-ish for this plate right here, so that's pretty thick, super thick. But there are parts of space armor strips right here, so that might be 200, 250, who knows, but don't shoot here, it's not worth. The lower plate might be able to be pinned rather than actual Sherman Jumbos or Sherman Easy 8s, so that's pretty odd. But the turret is covered with a very strong mantlet, 178 mantlet, and unknown if there's armor underneath. So the Sherman Jumbo has no armor underneath the mantlet, whereas the Sherman Easy 8 does, but this is from the standard def model. So it's been a long time since, or still has been a long time for the weight of the HD remodel of the Sherman Easy 8. But the actual model of this tank has no armor underneath the mantlet. So unknown if we have 178 millimeters of mantlet armor with armor underneath, but this turret is pretty strong. So overall, it's a Sherman Jumbo with a little bit more armor, but there are still a few weak spots like the bow machine gun port, so that's about the same as the frontal plate of the Sherman Easy 8, as well as the bottom of the turret, so the turret base. So if you want to penetrate this vehicle, shoot here, and shoot the base of the turret. But otherwise, this side skirt on the turret might be like the Centurion side skirt, so it's about 30 millimeters right here, whereas the tracks are 20 millimeters. So that may help bounce a lot of shots, and this vehicle has 10 degrees of gun depression, so overall it does seem like a Sherman Jumbo with a little bit more armor.
So pretty interesting. I think it does look like a fascinating tank. Let's see what else he has to say about this thing. There we go. So you can see main stats, it's a tier 6 premium, 5-man crew, gold cost 3,700 gold, 750 hit points, engine 500 hit points, horsepower, sorry, weight 37 tons, so it has a power to weight ratio of 13.51, which is a little slow. Maximum speed of 41 is okay but not brilliant. Hull traverse of 44 degrees per second is actually very good. Turret traverse is okay, 39.6. Ground resistances are excellent. View range is very good, 370 is nice. Camo is not great. So you've got the armour we just talked about. Carries a 76mm gun that a lot of these tanks have. Has a penetration 128, which is a bit lackluster actually, and 177 with the APCR round, and only 115 average damage. So 17 rounds per minute, DPM of just shy of 2,000 is okay. And as he talked about there, 10 degrees of gun depression. So interesting. Let's see what else he has to say before we wrap up on this one.
So it's the first unique hero tank, presumably more to follow. So a specific war hero, and that's why you have a lot of the medals in the game with the name of the heroes or the wartime soldier name on them. So you already have the Abrams medal, and therefore we could see a lot of the vehicles with different names on them based on the heroes in the medals. So funny enough, there's 12 premium American medium tanks in the game already. So it's like Russian premium heavies or German premium tank destroyers. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. And there's 9 Sherman variants, not including the artilleries or the tank destroyer derivatives. So there's a lot of Shermans, but the armor is pretty good. Terrain resistance, view range, aim time, dispersion, and the gun angles are pretty great. The horsepower per ton ratio is a little bit lacking. Same goes for the top speed, the penetration, and the alpha. So those are the strengths and weaknesses, but I wouldn't consider the armor as insane because it's pretty good, but there are still weak spots like the battle machine gun, the lower plate at the very bottom, and the turret base. So it's not crazy, but it's still pretty good. So the most simplistic comparison is a Sherman EZ8 Fury that has less horsepower per ton ratio, slightly less DPM, a little bit more weight, but for better accuracy, faster aim time, a lot better armor, and slightly better dispersion. So rest of the stats are all the same. Camo, health, view range, radio range, all the same, surprisingly. So it could be placeholder stats. Could be. But it will feel faster than the AC4 Experimental or the Schmaltern, the Panzer IV Schmaltern. So about the same as the STRV M42, 57, or the Sherman Firefly. It's not slow, but it's not fast. But you do have a lot more armor.
So kind of an interesting tank. It's I mean, obviously this is early stats, so the things could change, but it does look like it could be an interesting thing. And I like the idea that this is maybe the first of a new range of hero tanks. So could we be seeing, you know, I don't know, some of the other tank commanders that we know through history? Possibly. Interesting. Anyway, thought you'd appreciate seeing some updates from that, but go and check out Sam's video for the full details on this. He does a really good series of leaked videos, talks about upcoming premiums and the stats that he's managed to dig out of the game, so yeah, thoroughly recommended. So I'll leave you at the end of this rambles with the much nicer looking, look at this. This is the T26 E5, the Patriot without all that disgusting cartoon stuff all over it. Yeah, doesn't it look nice? Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Bit shorter than normal because there wasn't a huge amount happening, but a couple of interesting bits and bobs nonetheless. So let me know what you think about the updates that are coming through, particularly are you going after that T25 Pilot, or are you just going to buy it like a premium wallet warrior? I'm not going to buy it. I'll just play through as many of the missions as I possibly can, and if I need to buy the odd token, then so be it. But let me know what you think, and do you like the marathons? I think anything that's a long-term mission is kind of fun. Maybe 13 out of 15 days might be a bit much. Maybe it needs to be spread out a bit longer, but they obviously don't want to make it too easy. Just notice, look how much this thing looks like that. and that. They're almost all identical. That's a heavy. That's a medium. That's a medium. Oh well. Anyway, thanks for watching. Enjoy your games, have fun, try not to take them too seriously, and I will see you again soon. Please click like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and I will see you again soon. This is Gamer Dom, out.